make sure you guys check out www.procivic.com for all your 9th gen and Civic needs. And also make sure you guys check out www.blinkingbrakelights.com for blinking brake light tail bulbs, which can help you better be seen and safe out in traffic. Use the code GOT10 at checkout for 10% off. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Gotta Maliga. Today's the day. Today's the day we test out the Ram Air intake for the SI. This is not really just me doing a video on the effects of Ram Air on my car, but just the effects of Ram Air in general. Now, I know tons of you are new to this Ram Air technology type of thing, so let me give you a crash course into what Ram Air intake system does. I drew a picture here to kind of help you guys better understand how Ram Air works. Cars like the Porsche GT3, even motorbikes, use this technology. So with that being said, let me sort of give you a crash course into what this does. So with the Ram Air intake system being located right here at the bottom of the bumper, air is being forced in, and this is high pressure air. I can't put the Ram Air intake, say for example, higher up. It would still work near the grill, near the headlight, but it wouldn't work near the windshield cowl because that type of air is less pressurized and it has already gone over the car. Another reason why the Ram Air intake benefits you is because it is forcing in air that's about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That was the temperature I tested the vehicle at today. Air intake temperatures can range between 90 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and hotter air is less dense, which equals less power. If the vehicle is sucking in air between 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is around what the ambient temperature would be at a high rate of speed, that means I'm sucking in more dense air, and more dense air equals more power. This is also another thing that a lot of companies with cold air intakes will tell you, is that shoving the air filter somewhere in the bumper area will give you colder air, which in turn gives you more power. And that is true, and that is not false information. But what the Ram Air benefits you with is that the air is being shoved into your intake, which means the responsiveness is better, and the air intake manifold is already filled with air by the time you switch gears, so it would give you a faster gear switch response, which is something that I experienced on my test drive. This technology has been on even muscle cars from the early 70s to late 80s. So this type of technology here has been used on factory cars. It's just for a daily driver application, it wouldn't necessarily benefit you simply because of all the road debris and hazardous materials that can get shoved into your intake as a result of this. There are precautions you can take, for example, putting a little mesh grill in front of the cone. You could use filters. I mean, it already filters out for the most part before it gets into your engine, but that risk is still there. But that's not something I necessarily would worry about because there is a way you could quickly disconnect the hose from the system I have on my car. So this is a little bit of a crash course as to what that type of technology, what it does. There is also a video that I'm going to insert here. It's a video of Mighty Car Mods. They put an R34 on a dyno, and they put the air intake cone filter right next to the fan, and in turn it gave the R34 a little bit more power. Not much, but a little bit. That's because that they were forcing ambient air into the car. The car wasn't moving, but there was air being pushed through into the intake. It did give them a little bit of boost in power. So this technology on a dyno is proven to work. The reason why K&N they do most of their dyno videos with the hood open is because they basically use the same idea. So with the hood open and then they're shoving air into the engine bay, it's ultimately using that same principle. But as soon as you close the hood and do a couple of pulls, you'll heat soak. So that's why I got rid of mine, and that's why I'm using this Ram Air technology. So now that we gave you a little bit of a crash course as to what Ram Intake Air does, let's get into the test drive. Let's go test out the ram air. I'm actually pretty excited about this. So one of the things I know right off the bat is that my car doesn't sound nearly as throaty as before. I mean, that's a given, because the short ram I had on it before, you'd be able to hear it. Like you could just get on it a little bit and you'd be able to hear the growl from the intake. That's something I miss, but I'm willing to live without for now. Just gonna let the car warm up a little bit before I do any pulls. Had an opportunity to let it warm up back at home, so I'm gonna be taking it out here on the streets of Mexico. Pretty nice day today. It's actually 70 degrees with very little humidity, so this should be a really good day to test something like this. All right. Here we go. It pulls stronger. Usually I'm used to the car hitting about a buck one, a buck two. This one was about a buck five, and that was me lugging it after the bridge, because I have the camera here. Probably could have gone much faster. But man, I miss that growl, man. I miss that VTEC growl. Like, it was just so aggressive before. Now it's just, you know, that's the only thing that sucks, is that you lose the growl. But turn traction control off, because I know that actually, let me do a first gear pull. Do a first gear pull here. Roll through the gears a little bit. It's a very consistent pull. That was about a buck 20. Yo. I almost forgot how quick this car really was. But, man, this thing pulls. I mean, maybe it's because I haven't driven it in a long time, but it just goes. Usually by now, I'd be having heat soak issues. Because like those were two very strong pulls. Like, I don't know how to really explain this. The car it doesn't necessarily feel fast, but it's a consistent pull. And like the more you're pulling throughout the rev range, the harder it pulls. It's weird. It's very hard to explain. It's a very consistent pull. Yeah, it's just super fluid, very consistent. Like, I swear, I'm not making this up. Like, that's just something I've never felt before in my car. My car has always been like, it's always had that problem where consistency was like, it was never a word you could use with this particular car in terms of when it comes to like pulls. It's always pulled pretty hard for what it is. I'm gonna try and do another small pull here. I'm gonna give these lovely people some room. And about $4,000, I'm just gonna punch it. it's, I don't know how to explain it, but especially going from second to third, I shifted and then the car just picked right up. It just like right off of third, it just picked it up and just flew, and it pulled hard. And this car never did that before. See, there it is again. There it is again. I went from second to third, and it just picked right up off of third. We're coming up on an uphill here. I want to test it going uphill to see if there's a difference. Here we go. Okay, see, going up the hill, like it bogged a little bit. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I'll try and sync the two clips together, or try and give you guys a comparison. But the pull from second to third from those initial pulls were much different than going uphill. Here we go. Okay, see. Like going uphill was like how it felt with the K&N. That is incredible, man. Let's try it again. See? Like, I don't know if you guys can hear that. I can hear that. Like, that's a hell of a difference. That is a hell of a difference. And that's just solely based off the sound, right? That you guys can hear. But the pulls are so consistent. Super consistent. I'm impressed. I'm actually very impressed. So, I'm just going to pull off to the side here and check the camera. And hopefully I don't have to do all that crap again. So that was a test drive, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'm pretty impressed. I am pretty impressed with the results that the Ram air intake has given me in terms of response, in terms of power on my car. Would I recommend this to my viewers? For the cost, for the simple cost aspect of things, I would. But there's just some things that I would take precautions with. I'd probably get a mesh grill, like a little mesh screen door material in front of the cone filter, or on top of that little cup, just to keep rocks, road debris from getting into your intake tube. Now, like I said, most of that stuff is already filtered out with the air filter itself, but it's just something that I would use as a precaution. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty solid, I would say. The proof is in the pudding. I mean, the proof is in the drive. I was pretty impressed by it. So for somebody who is going to spend $100 on a system like this, as opposed to spending $300, $200 on short ram intakes, cold air intakes, all that stuff, you know, I would pick the $100 option. The cost aspect of things, and mainly because it actually works. It actually does work. But again, you would have to take proper precaution when doing something like this, making sure that, you know, you protect your engine for the most part. But that's really the only suggestion I would make is do a little mesh grill on the cup. But other than that, it's pretty much it. So I put it to the test, and on my Civic, it was pretty impressive. I'm pretty sure if you add this system on any kind of vehicle, you'll be pretty impressed too with the results. So does Ram air intake work? I would say yes. I would definitely say yes. I'm definitely keeping it on my car, especially for autocross and things like that. It's definitely something that's good to have. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit the like button, subscribe if you enjoy my content. And this has been your boy, League, and I'm out. Peace.